ArenaNet just gave us new information regarding Secrets of the Obscure, but there is so much more than people think. Starting with the easiest to find information, we now have a breakdown of how the new Wizards Vault will look. This new reward system will replace our current daily login and achievement reward system. Instead of having login reward every day of rotating items and daily achievements consisting of various PvE, World vs. World, or PvP tasks, we now have daily, weekly, and special tasks that will reward a new currency called Astral Acclaim. This acclaim can then be spent in the new Wizards Vault for rewards ranging from Mystic Coins to Mount Skins. Yes, you heard that right. Mount Skins just for playing the game. Every 3 months or so, they'll add in new rewards, and the old ones will be moved to a legacy section where they'll be forever available, albeit at a higher price than when they were new. This is similar to a battle pass in that new rewards will be added every few months, but different because they never leave. You choose which ones you want to get or work towards, and there's no premium version of the vault. The vault will be available to all players regardless of which expansions they own, though some of the rewards may not be available if you don't own every expansion. A few examples of new rewards that they showed in the blog post include the Enchanted Owl Griffin skin and the Sanctified Weapons and Armor set. The Wizards Vault releases with the expansion Secrets of the Obscure on August 22nd, which is this Tuesday. So soon. Now, for the story spoilers and all of the harder to find news, I found a few different articles written by media outlets who all got previews of the new expansion, and their links will be in the description below. We know that the new expansion will come with 3 new maps, 2 explorable with combat, and 1 friendly hub similar to like Lion's Arch, Eye of the North, etc. Skywatch Archipelago is the first explorable zone. This map is heavily tied to the Mists, and is made up of several islands that are alternate fractal versions of maps that we know, such as Crystal Oasis from Path of Fire, Rada Novus in Tangled Depths from Heart of Thorns, or Garenhof, the town in Kessex Hills that used to be home to the Wizard's Tower. The friendly hub is the Wizard's Tower itself, and we've seen a few shots of it so far, including some crafting stations and the Mystic Forge. These crafting stations being close together with the Mystic Forge automatically makes this a better hub than most in my opinion. Now we just have to figure out where the trading post is going to be. The final map coming on Tuesday is Amnitas, however you pronounce it. And this one holds more secrets than Area 51. In the center of the map will be an incredibly large tower called the World Spire. Climbing to the top of this tower will be the highest players have ever gone, both in lore and physically in engine. Around this will be the different bastions of thought. Bastion of Strength, Bastion of the Celestial, Nature, Balance, Obscure, and a few more that haven't been revealed. Those of you familiar with raiding probably recognize the naming convention, as Raidwing 4 was called Bastion of the Penitent. One of the articles confirmed that Bastion of the Penitent was built by the Wizards before the Mersat moved in. If you've been following along with ArenaNet either on Twitter or on Instagram, you might recognize the teasers for these bastions that they're putting out. As of writing, they've shown off Strength, Celestial, and Obscure. Some fellow creators have taken the original shared images and increased contrast to get a better look, and what we find looks to me like the Cryptoskunk that we see on at least one of the bastion structures in the Amnitas trailer. This definitely looks like a puzzle that is forming up. That shaman here has put it all together and enhanced the images. If you don't already follow him, do it. He's fantastic. Amnitas will have a map meta that culminates at the top of the World Spire, but I don't know much more beyond that. Apparently it's going to be very challenging, similar to how Harvest Temple was. Speaking of challenges, we know that 2 new strikes are coming as well, titled Temple of Phoebe and the Cosmic Observatory. The writers of the articles got to battle in one phase of Temple of Phoebe, and faced off against a boss named Ceres? Dude, I'm gonna need full pronunciations of all this stuff. They say he looks like a more mutilated version of Deimos from Wing 4, Bastion of the Penitent, which makes me believe that Deimos was a Cryptus all along. They did say in the past that we'd seen Cryptus before this expansion, and I think we now know where. The only other time Ceres' name was mentioned was when one of the posts talks about some of the new relics, including the Relic of Ceres, which upon using an elite skill summons an Eye of Ceres, which makes me think that Ceres might be the big bad of everything, and Menzies may not be included after all like I had originally thought. We'll have to wait and find out on Tuesday. One big question I always have is, where are the new maps for each expansion going to sit on the world? With previous ones, it was a bit easier to answer because we knew the locations from Guild Wars 1, but this time around, it's somewhere brand new. One of the articles claims that the new maps are high above the ocean to the northwest of the Maguma Wastes, which puts them up here.
I, for one, am very excited to see a brand new region. Hopefully the map will expand a bit so we can see further out, and this is relatively close to the Isles of Janthier. Janthier is the Mersat hub in lore, and given the link to the Bastion of the Penitent, I don't think it's that far-fetched to think that we're going to learn more about Mersat and maybe even see some of their artifacts similar to the ones we know, such as Eye of Janthier. Actually, speaking of that, I just want to touch on the other connection we have with the Wizards and the Mersat. In Living World Season 3, Episode 6, we are chasing down Lazarus and the Eye of Janthier, and we end up heading into Abaddon's Reliquary in Ore. Inside here, we not only wrap up the storyline of the Eye of Janthier, as far as we're aware, watching it disappear into thin air as it likes to do, but also see these golems here called Guardians of Secrets. Pretty fitting name, considering we see them littered throughout Amnitas and the Wizard's Tower. Could this mean that the Wizards were followers of Abaddon? Are the gods involved in this expansion? Do the Bastion names equate to the old gods? Strength, Balthazar, Nature, Melandru, Balance, Lissa, Obscure, Abaddon, Celestial, Duena, maybe another one that we haven't seen yet that relates to Grenth, or even Doom if we go that far back. While I was writing this script, one more bit of news came out too. ArenaNet has opened up a new merch store. I'm not affiliated, don't just hang in there, stick with me. And in it we see this new Shadow of Neos statue. According to the official blog post, the figurine is made in the likeness of an enigmatic character who features heavily in the Secrets of the Obscure story. This sounds to me like the enemy's full name is Shadow of Neos, and that means that Neos will either be a big bad, such as Ceres, like we heard about before, or possibly a demon house, like we hear about in the new Silent Surf Fractal, when Kanaxai says,
I don't often mingle with prey, but you've had an introduction. I am Kanaxai, Scythe of House Arcus, bringer of nightmares. Yours is just beginning.
That's all the news we have so far, but if I missed something, let me know in the comments. I just have one final question. What's with the holographic Hylic?